Welcome back. I'm working right now on a trading card. It's the smallest tooling I've done, um, and it started out basically as a hold my beer. Um, I saw it and I'm like, that's small. Well, let's give it a shot. So I thought I'd kind of bring you along with the journey a little bit. And show you I've always been interested in small tooling. I've been working on cards, kind of working smaller. Uh, and I want to go over some of the tools that I'm using. And they are a little bit specialized. Um, let's start with the figure bevelers. Um, the one I'm using is the smallest figure beveler that Clay Miller makes. I believe it's a number 9. Um, and if you can see right here, it's pretty small. And let's see if you can see it. It is small. Um, to run a line, it runs pretty good. I never thought I'd use this tool or this stamp when I bought the set, but I find I use it quite a bit. And then, uh, I work up to his next to smallest, and you can see there's a pretty huge difference between the two. Uh, Another one I use, I got with Barry King to make me a smaller beveler than his smallest. And this is from Barry King. Uh, he custom made it for me. And you can see, pretty small, in the same vein as my um, Clay Miller. And this one is Barry King's smallest one, standard. And you can see the other one's probably about 60% or so, I believe, 60 or 65% the size of his smallest. Those really help me when I'm working in these small areas, because you can see there's not a whole lot of room there. And um, if I ran his standard smallest one, some of these places it would be too big to use. Um, so I use that. Well, what happens if you don't have it? When I moved down here, I left my tools in North Carolina, and I wanted to do some tooling, but I didn't want to buy a whole nother set of really good tools. So I bought a Craft Japan 890 and I ground it down. Uh, and it is real close to the Barry King. And let me put the Clay Miller uh, beside it. Uh, you can see the clay miller is the smallest, but I got away with the one that I, you know, handmade for quite a while. Is it as easy to run as clays or Berry Kings? No, it's not quite as smooth, um, and it takes me a little bit more effort to get it to run clean. Uh, I also use a modeling spoon. Uh, I've modified the edge to make it sharper. I can show you a standard one for comparison. Um, you can see I've thinned it down pretty good. It's not razor edge, um, but it does work real well, and it does help me. But in some of these small places, sometimes it's still a little bit big. And I find that I'm using these modeling spoons more, and I've got a set of 3 um, Tony Bernier um, modeling spoons. These are older ones. They're wood. I think I bought them 6 years ago or so. You can see this one is pretty small and it's rounded. I've got one that's even smaller that is rounded and it's real narrow. And then I've got a square-faced one that is a little bit thicker, and I'll run that as in the way I would a regular beveler. Um, you know, this one I come in and I try to balance, you know, so I can get a little stability, and then I just come in, push, push, and just work my way down. And then I can lean it a little bit and run it like a beveler. Um, it's a little bit trickier, um, but the advantage is I can get into a real small area. Uh, the this one is what I use to clean up lines. You see, I can get in here and really clean up a line. Um, it let's put this next to the stamps, and you can see it's a decent bit smaller. Um, and this one is probably pretty close to the clay miller, and it is, but it's square, and I can get into areas with a little bit more finesse because I'm using pressure, and the way I'm holding it is I'm using my finger as a stabilizer. Um, Let's see if you can see better here. See how I've got it resting on my finger? So when I come down, I can be right on that line that I'm looking for. And what I'll do is I'll run the line that I've got. Once I run the line, I'll want to help push back the halo, but in some of these areas I don't have a lot of distance to push back. Um, and uh, here's another one that Barry King made for me. It's a small matting beveler, or beveler matting, however you want to say it. So I can come in and what makes this the matter is, see that angle? It's a very shallow angle compared to the uh, figure beveler. Once I use it, then I can come into, if I have the room, Barry King's standard matting beveler, and I can run it to clean it up. And I can push back the halo. I can also lean this tool a little bit, and I can help if I want to drive the line a little bit deeper. Once I have the line start, excuse me, sorry. Once I have uh, the line started, then I can come in uh, with a matting beveler or a bigger figure carving tool, because I've established the line. So I may use one of these tools and come in and just gently push it back. And this is why it takes me so long, is just working it a little bit at a time. Um, because every little, it's so small, if you mess up, it's hard to correct. Uh, for the swivel knife I use to do all these cuts, it's Old Faithful, and it's, I think it's 1/4 inch. Let me get my tape measure. I believe it's 1/4 inch. There we go. Yeah, 1/4 inch. And it's a thick blade from Barry King. Um, Nothing special about it. It's just, I got it as a anniversary or Christmas gift. I don't remember, a long time ago, and it's the one I use. And all of these cuts were done with this blade. learning to cut on the line and the depth of the cut, because a lot of these cuts here are real shallow. Around the edge here, I did cut deeper, but where the harness is, I did very shallow cuts because they're not going to be beveled deep at all, and you cut as deep as you bevel. So it's just learning how to cut deep or how to barely scratch the surface, because that's all I need on those harnesses is just a little bit of a cut. Because you see that right there, if I come in with my beveler, I've got to move it a little bit so I can see it while I'm doing this. And one thing you will see me do is I flip it towards me, because it's real easy to get this wrong, and if you want to strike it, you get it the wrong way, and I've done it enough that I try to pay attention, because there's nothing more frustrating. So you just come in, you hear how lightly I'm tapping it? I mean, it is just real light. But I come in with that, and I can come in with my small beveling tool, matting beveler, push it back, and then just work my way up. If I have the room to do it. And you see, it will collect antique. And that's the biggest thing on these small carvings, is the collecting of the antique to show the line. I can do, sorry about that, I hit my key when I put my mallet up. I can do the same thing. Let's do this side so you can see. And I'm going to put my trading card up, because I don't want it drying completely out. And all I do is just put them in a Ziploc bag. Let's make sure you can see. Okay. And I'm just going to come in and just work it. On here, I'm trying to get the line, and you can see, again, it's not very deep. You can come in with a modeling spoon still, if you've got some room. And again, with the modeling spoon, I use my finger to support it, because this way I'm a little bit shaky. I do this, and I have a lot more control of my spoon. So you can see we get, the same effect. What I can tell you or suggest, if you're doing or wanting to do this type of carving, first practice with your knife. Make sure you can trace on the line of the pattern. Because if you can't trace on the line, you're just starting off and it's not going to be right. And then cutting on the line. And that means knowing where to start the cut, like right here, starting the cut, and then ending it. Being able to do both. It's swivel knife control. Knowing your swivel knife. If you're getting started in tooling and carving, I wouldn't recommend this because there'll be more frustration for you. If you've been doing tooling and you're working your way down a little bit, I think it's a great way to challenge yourself. And it doesn't use much leather. I buy these trading cards from Traditions. They're live oak. They hold a good detail. And the casing that I run the casing and moisture content probably like I would if I was backgrounding. A little bit drier than I would for other things because I'm not tooling as deep and it's a little bit firmer for me. If you have any questions, shoot me a question. If you guys like this, we may do a class on small tooling, and maybe I can help you along a little bit. And thank you for joining me. Have a blessed day and happy tooling.